With everything that's going on surrounding this eclipse that's supposed to happen next month, and with the container ship that ran into the Baltimore Bridge, and about a dozen other things that we can spend a lot of time talking about, I haven't heard too much about the subject matter that we're going to talk about today. And it's something that happens, in my opinion, in biblical proportions, meaning that it's so much, and something also that hasn't happened in over 200 years. And it just happens that it's going to occur this coming month as well. Happy Easter, ladies and gentlemen, at least to those of you that celebrate it. Today we're only going to talk about one thing. I don't want to bring out too much news because I want you to enjoy your Easter, and I don't want to make this video way too long. But have you ever heard of a cicada? It's a small insect that likes to eat, and that's what captured my attention when this news feed first came across my screen, I guess you can say. Two broods of more than 1 trillion cicadas will emerge in the U.S. this year. And guess when they're supposed to emerge? Sometime in April. Before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that OUPES solar generators are still on sale at a very good price. In addition to that, the SimPure reverse osmosis water filtration system is also still on sale. So if you're in the market for either of those, they have really great savings today. Go check them out by clicking on the link that I will leave on a pinned comment, and make sure that if you do purchase something from them, that you use my code for an additional 5% off on the OUPES solar generators and up to 30% off on SimPure. I'm happy to say that the winner of the reverse osmosis filtration system actually contacted me, and she will be having her RO system shipped to her sometime this week. Now let's talk about this cicada swarm that's going to emerge sometime in April. It's supposed to be 2 swarms, or they call them broods, that are going to be doing it at the same time. And here it says that it's more than 1 trillion of them that will be coming to the U.S. Well, they're already here. They're just underground. And an event that has not happened since Thomas Jefferson was the president of the United States all the way back in 1803. Now, ladies and gentlemen, talk about biblical proportions. More than 1 trillion of these insects are going to come to be. And we're going to talk about how much they eat here in a minute. 2 adjacent broods, the red-eyed flying cicadas, will emerge from the ground in April. And residents in the Midwest and Southeast should brace themselves for a season of high-pitched buzzing. But is that all that they have to worry about? From what I understand, these animals eat as much as 3 times their weight. But even if they only ate once or twice as much as they weigh on a daily basis, the numbers in pounds is astronomical. I just typed in how much does a cicada eat per day, and as you can see right here, it says up to 3 times their weight. So I went the conservative route and said, let's say they eat about 2 times their weight per day. How much is that? If your average cicada weighs about 2 grams, and on average they eat about 2 times their weight per day, then that's 4 trillion grams of food per day. Because there's 1 trillion cicada that weigh 2 grams each. So that's 2 trillion grams times 2, twice their body weight per day. So that's about 4 trillion grams of food per day. So we've got 4 trillion, and that's in grams. So let's go ahead and divide that by 454, which is how many grams there is in 1 pound. So divide that by 454. That comes out to almost 9 billion pounds a day of, I would say, vegetation. And here they tell us that these broods often emerge together, but 2024 will mark the first time in more than 200 years that brood 19, which arrives every 13 years, and brood 13, which arrives every 17 years, will emerge at the same time. This is going to be very interesting as far as road travel. You know that road travel, when there's a lot of these insects, makes it very difficult and dangerous. But what I'm concerned about the most is going to be the vegetation in the surrounding area where these cicadas emerge. The next co-emergence of these broods won't happen for another 221 years. We live in interesting times. And they say, here is what we know. What are cicadas? Well, let's find out. For more than a decade, cicadas, which are in the same family as the stink bugs and bed bugs, live in underground burrows until they mature enough to rise to the surface. Weeks before they are set to emerge, the insects create tunnels to the surface but do not come out of their homes until the soil temperatures at about 64 degrees, 7 to 8 inches beneath the ground. And that's 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Cicadas are unique because of their lengthy lifespan, but they don't live long once they emerge from the ground. They only have 4 to 6 more weeks to mate. And that doesn't sound like it's that long, but when you're putting away 4 billion pounds of food a day, 4 to 6 weeks can be devastating, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be very interesting to track. Cicadas will become a sight to see in several states. However, 2 of them will be able to see both broods, and that's Illinois and Indiana. Brood 13 will be seen in states like Iowa, Wisconsin, and possibly even Michigan, while brood number 19 will emerge in Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. That's a lot of states. At least all of that eating will be split up amongst a lot of states. But still, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? I mean, if I did my math right, we're looking at about 4 billion pounds of food per day, or 4 billion pounds of vegetation. Let's see what they have to say about that here. While the mating call of these insects are annoying, they also say that they are harmless to human beings, that they don't sting and they don't bite, and they're not poisonous. They say that, in fact, the Environmental Protection Agency says that they can be a great food source for birds and are nutritious for the soil once they decompose. That makes sense. They may be damaging to young trees if female cicadas decide to lay their eggs in one. And here they finish it off by saying that people can wrap the branches with cheesecloth to keep cicadas away, but cicadas won't be harmful to any flowers or fruit because they only consume sap from the trees and shrubs to stay alive. Pesticides do not work on cicadas. The insects are generally beneficial to the local ecology. Their emergence tunnels in the ground acts as a natural aeration of the soil. The large number of adult cicadas provides a food bonanza to all sorts of predators, which can have a positive impact on their populations. What can I say? This is not a doom and gloom article. From what I understand, this has happened in the past. It's going to happen again. It just hasn't happened together with both of these broods coming out of the ground at the same time for the last 220 plus years, and it won't happen again for another 220 plus years. So we will have to wait and see what happens. But what do I always say? No matter how good or bad the news may be, always be prepared and stay prepared. Again, for those of you that celebrate Easter, I hope that you're having a great weekend. Have a great Easter as well. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.